Welcome, y'all. Welcome. Now, y'all got to give me the same energy y'all gave X. Welcome, welcome. Listen, this is truly an honor to have so many of us in one space that is a safe space and that we can actually do this and actually bring in our residents from Anderson Associates and other individuals into this space. Like, this is really awesome to have this many people in this space. They have not seen this many people in this space. So I am so happy and honored to have each and every one of you here. My name is Destinnee Vance. I am your host for tonight and the host for the Blinded Truth podcast. I am a registered crisis certified peer recovery specialist, and I am also the grant outreach coordinator for Partnership for Community Wellness. I have here my co-host, and I'm going to allow him to introduce himself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Foster. I'm a certified peer recovery specialist, integrated forensic peer recovery specialist, career mentor for TAP Pathways, and I'm an adult ambassador for Partnership for Community Wellness.
Yeah. So, yeah, clap for that.
Oh, what? Hey, wait. Real quick.
Okay.
And I'm also a person in long-term recovery.
Yep.
All right.
So when we first talked about doing this podcast and we met with Bear, he said, who do you have that can really engage with the audience and really, really, really like have a true, raw, authentic story that can relate to your audience? And I looked at each other and we was like, Danny, that is hands down, no questions asked, Danny, because I have Danny, and what I can say is that, and I won't introduce, I'm going to let Eric introduce, but he is a true boots to the ground person. Like, I have seen him never forget where he came from. He will help anybody that he can. And he does not give up on anybody. Where there's been situations where I'll be like, I don't know what to tell you. And then he's like, I got this. I can handle this. So, Eric, you actually have a different relationship with Danny, and I'm going to have you go ahead and highlight and introduce him.
Just cry, man.
I'm trying. I'm over here fighting it. All right. I came to Roanoke in 2023 with a suitcase and a backpack. And I got to the 12, and I didn't know which way my life was gonna go. I just know I didn't want to go back to prison. I finished the. Hold me back up. Wow, a couple of days, I believe Danny was off of work, and I kept hearing his name being said. And I didn't know what the face would be about the name. I didn't know how it would match up. But when he came through the door on that Monday, I was glad to see who it was, because he didn't look like what I thought he would look like. I was judging a book by its cover before I even seen the book, and to my knowledge now, Danny, man, I watched Danny from a distance. When I met Danny, I listened to him. He was very knowledgeable, but he wasn't a person that I can get up close with, because what he had, I wanted it, and I couldn't see it if I was close to him. I had to watch him and see how he moved and what he was doing to make his life better. And when I was at the 12, he asked the residents there to be a part of his video to become a registered peer. And I was a part of that. And that day is the day I decided I also want to be a peer myself. Because he actually made, I wouldn't tell you this if we was outside, but she actually made recovery look cool.
It's pretty cool.
It is, because we used to come through with the boots, the t-shirts, the hoodies, and
the Dr. Martin boots, y'all. The Dr. Martin.
And then hit you with a pair of Van boots here and there. It just gave me some. It just inspired me to just be the best version of myself. And you also taught me that it's always principles over personalities, man. because in my journey, I've ran across a lot of people that I couldn't see eye to eye with, but I can understand, you know, and I give them the same love and the same treatment, because what you did show me was if somebody needs you, you show up and you give it your all. And you rarely take no for an answer. And you, I guess, a living testimony of that, because you're sitting here with us. And I said it's an honor just to being someone that knows you, but it's also an honor being your friend. And this won't be the last time you see me, because after this podcast, I plan on making a bond with you and get to know you a little better as a person. I think I watched you long enough, and I just want to thank you for everything you've given me.
I love that. Thank you, man.
So this episode we named Broken, Battered, and Scarred, Healing Through Hard Places. And Danny, when you sent over your story, I was like, the fact that you have been through being homeless, having a 7th grade counselor tell you that you would be better off locked up. You were in the Circus Soleil. You fell from a He fell from a 2-story house.
Yep.
And proceeded to use 10 minutes after the fall. You were on your aunt's porch. I mean, you have definitely, you are like the perfect for our title. And I'm glad when I sent it over, you was like, oh, that's perfect. I got this. So my first question to you is, you mentioned surviving childhood abuse, growing up in a violent, dysfunctional family. How did those early years shape your identity, even before addiction entered the picture?
Such a good question. So I guess for me, probably like at least some of you, I don't really remember now or think that I was a child. It's so far away. But like maladaptive behaviors based on trauma, and then my brain recalibrating the trauma, which created like a broken personality and a faulty belief system, made me who I was. So you have to hold on to who you are, but then figure out, how did I get that way? I don't know. I guess whatever happens often enough becomes normal, unfortunately. And I think for a lot of us and people that do have childhood trauma, physical trauma, sexual abuse trauma, the people that are supposed to take care of me, my safe place, was the place that hurt me. And so fantasy became my first escape of choice long before I used the substance.
I mean, this deep. I like when you said it was hard for you to let go of, we hold on to who we are. And I think, do you think sometimes that's the part that's holding us back in our recovery?
It's like, if your eyes are blue, how do you let go that you have blue eyes?
Yeah.
It's almost that, it's that fundamental. Trauma is that ingrained. It literally, like my whole DNA pattern grew around my trauma. And unless I can see it that way, I can't back out of it. I just become maladaptive, and that becomes normal. How do you let go of something? There's a certain distorted comfort in old familiar pain.
Yes.
You know, and it seems easier to embrace pain than to let go of it for something unknown. So that I lived that way for decades and decades.
Well, let me ask you a question. When we was in the back talking about trauma and going to therapy, how did you get to the point where you was like, I'm ready to deal with this trauma? What was the breaking point where you couldn't go on no longer?
Okay, so I have a love-hate relationship with therapy. First of all, my idea of therapy was a person that I could challenge and F with them, you know, because obviously they did not have my best intentions at heart.
Right.
And so if anybody struggles with that idea of that, that's completely normal. And then I didn't know what to talk about in therapy. And honestly, who cares is what I thought. Who cares, you know? And so I'm so glad Stelcy's here, because I really will cry. So I got into recovery December 4th, 2019. That's right. And one of the first people I met that turned out to be a safe person. not because she was a therapist, but because she had a Prince poster on her wall. And I don't know how, I'm Gen X, I'm from the 80s, I'm down with Prince. And I was like, she's probably cool. She did something, and I tried to follow that in what I do. I just felt safe with her. And I don't know why, but when you have an unhealed child inside of a grown man's body, they connect that is so difficult. And there was just like a little epiphany that said, just maybe somebody won't hurt me. And let's keep it 100.
Yep.
No one, not one person in this room ever on your worst day in life can hurt me the way I hurt me. No one. You can't say worse things about me than I've said about myself. But still, I ostracize people because as long as I was in control, or the illusion of control of the harm that came to me was self-induced, I was in control of something. And I don't know if that makes sense. It might make sense in 3 days, but think about it.
That's nothing like that.
But at least it'll make sense. And at least you will think about it because, for me going to therapy, I was like, I don't trust you. What makes me want to trust you? And what makes me want to tell you what I got going on, what I had going on so I can heal? Who say you won't turn it around and go back and tell somebody else? And I think that's the part that a lot of us struggle with when you've been hurt and you've dealt with that type of trauma, because you like you said, how can I trust you?
Yeah. I also had asked him, like, how do you deal with trauma when you don't know you've been traumatized? Like, every time that I feel helpless, my mom being beaten flashes in front of my eyes. And I was like 7 or 8 and I couldn't help her. So it's like, I'm up against that every time I feel like I'm helpless. And that just makes it worse. But like going to therapy now, I think that that's allowed me to get further along in my recovery process. But I'm still afraid to deal with some of the trauma because I'm afraid to awaken what's inside of me. Because like, if I see a man hit a woman, it terrifies me, But some people, that's what they do. And I'm not saying, I'm not going against anything. I'm just saying that incident shaped me for who I am. Like, I seen my mom get beat, so I don't beat women. It could be a reverse pattern for some men, but it's like, I still relive that trauma. And the crazy thing was, the guy who beat my mom, I was in a jail cell, in a holding cell, waiting for him. Not waiting for him. I was in there. They brought him in. And I had asked myself, what would I do to this guy if I ever seen him again as an adult? He walks in, but this is the thing. When he came in, he was blind. And it's still unaddressed because I couldn't get my revenge. And I asked that because it's hard sometimes not to play the victim. And it's hard, like when we go through a different phase in life where we say we did something, but it wasn't that bad, And then, we try to, I guess, justify others people's actions towards us. Because like you said, you hurt yourself more than anybody can, And it's like trying to pick people to be around that's not going to hurt us is a hard job for me. I often pick people that will hurt me, and I'll wait for them to hurt me.
Because I'm used to it. It's normal for me, and that's my comfort zone. I know how to act, and I don't know. Allie's my close friend, and she tells me all the time, I have such a hard time accepting compliments and genuine affection and just love and concern. Not because I don't believe that she feels that way for me, but even at almost 55 years old with 6 years in recovery, there's still this little part of me that says, you don't deserve that. Unless I could say that out loud and make it real, I would take that. It's like a seed, and I'll keep it in me, and it will manifest, and it has tentacles like an octopus, and they will start to manifest in different areas of my life. And I become unmanageable. I become restless, irritable, discontent in a short period of time. Now I literally become sick of myself. And those are like warning signs for me when I need to back up and do something different. Because I know how to have an everything must go sale.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quick.
Yeah.
My stuff, your stuff, your friends, your grandmother, my dignity, self-respect, self-esteem, self-worth, my fidelity, fortitude, everything. All at the door.
Yeah.
Gotta go. and trade it for a moment's relief and long-term hardship.
So talking on the lines of like childhood trauma, I want to ask you, based on what you went through, what do you think families, schools, and communities can do differently to help prevent the kind of trauma and addiction you experience?
God, we have these conversations, don't we? I love my job. I have so many people that challenge my thinking. If you're around people who are not challenging your thinking, just a suggestion, you might want to get around some other people. Because if my preconceived thinking is what's carrying me through right now, I don't know how I'm making progress or getting better. So I grew up in the 70s and 80s. Don't be so excited.
I did too.
Cell phone, Facebook, Instagram.
They like,
It wasn't none of, I didn't know what big pharma was. Everybody wasn't going to treatment. I don't know what a DSM-5 was, and I need to be diagnosed, and there was none of that. Just drink some water and lay down.
Yep. Or get a beating.
It's gonna be okay. You need to stop. Just stop what you're doing and get better. I don't know, what I learned growing up from what I know now. So a lot of times, when I'm talking about me, what I know now, the level of help is a double-edged sword almost for us to continue the pattern of having our autonomy eroded. There has to be self-sufficiency and independence. When people become reliant on diagnosis and, over-prescribed and medical coercion and things like that, see, I don't know the balance for me. I think, no one was considered autistic when I was growing up. They were called another word. They begin with the R. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that was a stigma in and of itself. So I don't know, comprehension, communication styles, things are different now. I think it's just good for young people to have an outlet and someone to talk to, not someone to beat their ass and put them to bed. Yeah. They're not acting the way that you think they should act. That's pretty simple. That's just an old school way I see it.
And like you said before, having that trusted adult that they can actually trust to confide in and actually talk
outside of the home.
Yeah.
That guidance counselor. The funny story, because I have stories. The guidance counselor's name was Gabe Gazelle was his name. The keyboard warriors, go find him. Anyway, I was probably 14, 15. Remember that conversation. So if you think little things don't have an impact, I forgot a whole lot of my life, but I remember him, and I remember him telling me society would be a better place when you're locked up. Mm-hmm. Not I want to help you, not what's going on at home, not have you been abused, not how can I help you? How can I help you be safe? I want you to know that you can talk to me. You're not alone. None of that. Just you need to go to jail. Fast forward 10, 11, 12 years later, I was at Camp 31 Augusta through Department of Corrections. And his son came in scared. I never did like him anyway, if I'm being honest. I didn't like him because I didn't like his dad. But I didn't feel that way when I saw him there. I know what it was like to be scared going to prison. And I didn't even tell him that, but I thought about his dad, and I thought, damn, you're just like me, man. And I wonder if he told me that, I wonder what he told you. So it just kind of gave me some insight to be able to have some compassion for things I don't understand and conversations I wasn't a part of.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about the rock bottom.
Which one?
That's right, because they say every rock bottom has a trap door.
Yes, sir. I agree.
And as a person in recovery, I used to judge a lot of people because I hadn't fallen as far as they had fell.
Same.
I wasn't like them, I always I guess I never identify in, I always compare myself out, What was that moment of clarity? When did it come? Did it come while you was using, or did it came after you got clean? Because see, my moment of clarity came when I was using an active addiction, when I'm looking out of a window saying one day it's not gonna be like this, But I just didn't know what to do to stay stopped. I couldn't. Because my folks, they'll take me to the treatment place. I get out of the car, I see them pull off, I hop on the bus, because I hadn't had enough. But when they said, Eric, this is it. You can't come in my house. You can't do nothing but call me on the phone. We'll bring you some clothes if you need it. We'll bring you some food if you need it. But anything else, you're on your own.
I'll try to. So I'll give you like a 3 or 4 minute idea of something that happened to me. I don't know if it was the rock bottom, but it was a bottom that also included spiritual experience. So I was homeless in Knoxville. And a lot of you guys know, and I make jokes about it sometimes because I think if I could give you a visual, it might not be as rough. And sometimes a visual will allow someone else to identify where they might never, ever say that was, So I was scurrying around the street in Knoxville like a lizard with no tail. Been on one for years, in a psychosis, dope sick, sores all over my body, 130 pounds. Y'all know about the tooth. I had one tooth, like a saber-toothed tiger. I had one tooth. I use it for everything. I use it for a tool, hold my cigarette, to mess with stuff, fix my rig. It had been there since I was a kid. I was attached to that tooth, just like I was attached to any bad behavior I had. It was a safe place. And even though all my other teeth were gone, I had that tooth. I thought about keeping it. I thought about putting it on a chain. But anyway, I'm scurrying around. I ended up at this this paper box right outside of Carm, the Knoxville Area Rescue Mission, which is about 5 times the size of the Roanoke Rescue Mission. I got some clothes out of there because the clothes I had are just filthy soil, blood, urine, all the stuff, dirt. And the pants I found. So I know some of y'all know about sizes. So if I tell you I found a size 8, they clearly belong to females. But I'm kind of tall, and I was like, oh, these are like, capris. Like they were over the knee shorts. I'm like, shit, I got them, put them on like skinny over the knee shorts. And I was like, I need a backpack. So I found an over the shoulder bag, pocketbook, but over the shoulder bag. And even in my mind, I was still trying to hold, when the level of insanity reaches higher than the wall of denial, we cannot pretend we are anything other than what we are in the moment.
Yeah.
And it was brutal that I was walking around like that. I went out probably a week or 2 later. I was living under a porch like a dog because I was a doormat for these people that sold dope. Go to the store, go do this, fix this up for me, carry this out to the street. And I went in this little neighborhood called the Fort. It was near University of Tennessee. And I went on a mission. Like I worked for Sherman Williams. I was stealing paintbrushes that day. Oh, y'all laughing. Y'all ain't ever bought paintbrushes?
Sold them.
Jeremiah, they're expensive. Tell the truth, man. And they had that little site called Let Go. I'm not trying to put y'all on something if you hadn't been on it. I don't know. So everybody that's been in recovery or using had a straight talk phone with a cracked screen. Yeah. Y'all, and you had to get Wi-Fi from wherever. That was me. So I walked around all morning. That was in August. Collecting, stealing. Did you call it collecting? Wait a minute. I need to change my word. I was collecting, stealing paintbrushes until I got enough in my bag, like made me think of like one of them children's stories where they're walking through the field with the over-the-shoulder bag, putting flowers or fruit in it, except I was putting paintbrushes in it. And in my mind, the insanity was if I could just get one, I'll be okay. Even though I know all tangible proof says one is not going to make you okay. None will make you okay. Nothing will make this okay. This is never going to get better, and nothing that you put in you will make it better. But that one little moment of that the train or that car you're in on a road trip on the highway and it's pouring down rain, and when you hit that like 2-second underpass, that there it is. That was my safe place, man, just for a minute. And don't you Narcan me? I've been trying to kill myself for 30 years. How dare you put that shit in my body? I've been working on this buzz for 19 days. I was talking to Jesus. Now they want to come and Narcan because I wasn't breathing. The insanity of that life. I was in there. I went, sold my little brushes. It's a little construction business I had. Sold my brush, emptied my bag. It was lighter. Scurried over to the spot, went in, sat down on the couch, got a point, put it in my change pocket. Now, as soon as I got it, I felt better just because I had it. Whatever better is. Feeling better is me convincing myself that I didn't have to feel at all because I didn't know how to live with my feelings. I didn't know how to live without them. I just didn't know how to live. Somebody kicked the door in. A guy came in. The dude behind him came in with a gun. Rob pointed the gun at us three. Robbing them, the people that sold the dope. Some of y'all know the story. In that moment, here's coming right here, man. I had contemplated all the things I've been through in my entire life led up to me sitting here. And if you think I'm going to give you that, you got me effed up. So I just, because I was so thin anyway, I was kind of like a breeze for the wind. I just slid off the couch and started scurrying towards down the hallway. Pop, pop, pop. Third shot caught me in my coccyx on my lower back, knocked me out the window. So I fell, hit the ground. I remember hitting the ground, punctured my lung immediately. It sounded like it letting the air of a balloon. You could hear it bleeding. When I did stand up, I could hear it when I was walking. It sounded like I can still hear the trauma, man. It's trauma. I can still hear it when I walk sometimes. I hear water. When I walk, because blood was in my shoes. I got up and I stood up, and you know what I thought? This is it. I said, I got to do that dope, man. I don't need to go get no help. That's the help. Because nobody's going to help. Nobody's going to do. My life showed me no one was going to help me. There was no way out. And I did it. I did that. And then everything that happened after that was like a collective dragging in the core of the earth bottom. It was like, that's when the epiphanies and the fundamental realization started to happen, where you contemplate and be like, am I crazy? Am I really living this life? Even if I got better, what would better look like? Because I never seen better. I didn't even know like what better was. And then I passed out. These people from my NA meeting put me in a van. I passed out in the literal churchyard right in front of the doors. These two ladies came out, drove me in a van, drove me to UT hospital, and they sent me to my next of kin to die with the drain bag at a port. And then that was on my aunt's porch. My aunt wouldn't let me in the house. She told me I could sleep on the porch. And I remember that week or two sitting on the porch, or 3. Just, if you know, man. I don't want to get better because I'm scared to death. It can't get much worse. I mean, I didn't die. Like, what even's going to happen? I didn't think about I was going to get clean, man. There was something in me that said, what if you hadn't even lived your life yet? Like, it was just a little time. Like, it only take, listen, hope is not a measurable commodity. You can't measure hope or desire. No one gets to decide how much it takes, And a few things happened, man, in a row, and I ended up at the CSU, literally. And met Chelsea. Look at my very best. My dad, when I got there. I think I was wearing a trash bag, 2 different shoes. I had a Batman shoe. One of them was a Batman shoe, and one of them was going to be a Joker shoe, except I didn't get the Joker shoe where I stole them from this garage. I had a trash bag on. Y'all remember Max Headroom? Y'all remember that?
Yes.
Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
I had one of them. Everybody had a bomber. Some of y'all didn't have one. Remember them bombers? They were orange on the inside of blue.
Yeah. Got it from
so, I'm a big guy anyway. I had like a 5X. My shoulders was like that big in that bomber. My head was like this. That's how I went in the CSU. I had a wife beater balled up and on the bullet hole because I was afraid if I told them I had that right there, they wouldn't let me come in there. And I nursed that thing the whole time I was in there without telling anybody that I had it. And a few other things. My foot was broke where I was trying to steal my aunt's IV while she was in the hospital. I thought I could steal it and then do it myself. I didn't even know if that was a real thing, but apparently it wasn't. But anyway, I blacked out in the hallway of the hospital, and when the security pulled me up and got me down to emergency, they showed me the video, and the elevator door was like just closing on my foot. So it broke my foot. So my foot, it was broke from my whole first year clean. I created a different walk, like crip walk. I think it was my own style, like a pimp limp. It was my own thing. I did it. I was like, that's me. That's part of who I am. Anyway, it's kind of like, how much of a bottom you need, right? But I knew I couldn't use, but I knew I couldn't live. And there's the dilemma. It says in the basic text, we were in the grip of a hopeless dilemma. The solution was spiritual in nature. And unless I believe that, if I maintain my self-sufficiency, that with my preconceived failures, thoughts, maladaptive behaviors, if I could use that to make a better decision how to live, I was going to die. And I might not die quickly. I might be slow and I might drag out and go completely out of my mind and just be dragging a body around, which I was already close to it anyway. And something happened, man. Even in the second step, it didn't say what, and it's just a short sentence. Something happened. And some people in here, it happened to you too. And you don't even have to decide what it is. It happened to you, man.
Yes.
Something happened.
Yes, most definitely.
So I want to ask you, based on what you went through, despite all the chaos in your life, you still found an outlet in dance and even became a professional. What did dance mean to you during those years? Was it an escape or a form of healing or both?
Can I tell the truth in here? Everything ain't got to be cute, right? We just about to stand on it, right? Somebody might identify. So I was sexually abused growing up from the ages of probably what I can remember, 7 or 8. So I was like 12 or 14. When I started to get almost old enough to be able to really say or know this is not okay, even though it happened for so many years, it seemed like it was okay. But something wasn't right about it. That little icky shame feeling that families and you have, and there's nobody to tell, and then you're embarrassed to tell anyone. And so I wanted to start dancing because I'd always heard that gay guys danced, and I thought I must be gay. So I started dancing. Turns out, shit, you can dance, man. Dance, man. So I danced with Ray Hollinsworth dance troupe in Martinsville. I joined a group. I got recruited by a group called Believe It or Not. They did fashion shows and events from all the way from Savannah, even up to Manhattan. And then I auditioned for the Cirque du Soleil. And I became an alternate performer for the Cirque du Soleil in San Diego in 1989. But I like the power, man. I like the power, man. He's from the area. I wanted to get high. I met all these people that were so cool. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Then I was still contemplating, shit, I might be gay. I just might be anything. I don't know, but I was trying to find out. And I started using substances and it just took over. But I always knew, I was like, damn, I could be a professional dancer. I want to be a choreographer. And then that lifestyle just started to take such big bites out of my functionality. It's like watching your dreams fade, and then we'll pretend that wasn't a dream anyway. Like I did that later in life. I'm like, I only did that because this was happening to me, and Oh, but listen, when I start hitting that line dance that Janelle does in my mirror at the house, I got Mike. I'm like, oh no, you a dancer for real.
All right, let me ask you a question. On Mondays, when you used to come in to do your groups, you always played a song.
Always.
He does?
Still do it.
So, like, I'm a music lover, you know, and we're close to the same age. I'll be turning 50 in December. How important is music to you and your recovery, but also to you in life?
What a good question. I don't know what other people's outlets are. So I listen to music. I watch live music. I use nostalgia as a coping skill. I've learned a way to like use nostalgia from the 80s and 90s and be able to remember before things got bad and then separate the trauma that was going on from it. So it gives me a safe place. I use music for motivation. I started to explore different genres and different age groups of music. I've had a few, been in a few relationships along the way. Some judging. I can see I can feel the judgment from y'all with people that were, a little younger than me. And so how do you identify? You figure out what they look, then get a little playlist. Then when you hang out with them, you like just put the playlist on and they're like, oh, how do you know that song? And then you're like, oh, I like that. Yeah. I didn't know. I don't know nothing. Listen, by default, if you like it, I like it. If you like me, I'm better.
Right.
And, and so I learned how to do that with music and just kept all the music. I use it in groups. I use it to be relatable. I use it to identify. Even the people that can't identify with it get interested that we might play a song that they like. Sometimes we'll play one in and play one out. Sometimes we'll play podcasts, put a little music in it. So I love music. It's every day, all day. Yeah.
So speaking on what you do now, can you just tell us and tell our audience like exactly, because we talked about the past, but give everybody an audience like what you do now exactly, specifically Anderson Associates, and then you told me today you started your business. And
yep. We don't know what we're gonna do with it, but we have it. I just wanted to put the paper on in a frame on my wall.
Do it.
So I started out at Anderson Treatment 4 years ago when the 12 opened. As what's the title? Residential service provider. I don't even know what the title is. So is that what it is? Because I thought, I could work in treatment because I was clean and I get it. Mm-hmm. It's a whole lot I didn't get at the time, but I was helped by people that worked there over the years. Jody Anderson, Allie, and different people just invested in me and helped me develop myself as a human, as a professional, as a recovering man. So my title is Recovery Housing Coordinator, Conflict Resolution Facilitator. I'm a registered certified peer. I am a EBHDS Region 3 PRS trainer in the state of Virginia. Just get it in, man. I keep coming up with new stuff all the time. If I have one conversation with a staff member or a new one, I'll come up with a new title for my repertoire. Mm-hmm. And look, you can live your life and do what you wanted. I didn't have no life. Mm-hmm. So I like to include staff development. I give tours to people at the facility, to outside resources. I explain the integration of the embodiment of the peer role, and then including that into admin, clinical, residential service providers, and everybody that works there. I'm just a lot. I do, I'm on basically 24-hour call for the facilities.
Wow.
If something jumps off, I'll be there.
Yeah.
They know I'll be there. I'm consistent, reliable, accountable. It's a good gig.
And I have to say that, sorry.
Real quick, can I say something real quick? I just want to say to all of the 12 and Anderson, thank y'all from the bottom of my heart for help save my life. I know if it wasn't for y'all, I might not be here. There's a chance I would, but more likely not. So today, since so many of y'all are here, I just want to say I love y'all and thanks for everything y'all did for me and not kicking me out the program when I'm pretty sure I probably could have, but thank you and I love y'all and I'll be coming by to see y'all soon.
Love that.
So I have to say, like, when it comes to conflict resolution, and I'm going to say this, and then we're going to do Q&A from any audience. I have seen you and Allie in action when it comes to conflict resolution. And I thought that I could handle conflict resolution until I've seen these two in action. I was like, oh, this is a whole nother level. Like the way you approach it. Because we're all three very direct people. Like we're going to tell you like it is. You either digest it how you want to and move on with your life, right? But you approach it in a way of this is what it is. Okay, now how do you feel about that? Okay, so let me tell you I'm gonna tap into what part of where you're coming from. It's a whole different approach, and I think that is something that organizations who want to either work with someone in recovery or are wanting to start their own recovery treatment facility needs someone like you in their facility, you and Allie, that can kind of tell them like, this is the type of people that we're dealing with. This is how you're going to have to approach it because it's a whole different ball game.
Listen, I'm biased, but for real, Anderson treatment has the most badass staff members.
Yeah.
I'm so 100. I don't listen. You're only as good anyone as your team is.
Yeah.
And whether you feel some type of way about whatever, I just know where my support is. There are so many outlets of support for different things that I get from our team. I'm part of the team. I'm a team player. So, but me and Allie took the conflict training together actually, and of course, she's just awesome. I'm just saying, if I could just go sit beside her for 10 minutes somewhere when I leave, I feel more intelligent, more regulated, and whatever. So she's just awesome to come in and put a handle on things and redirect and set us up for a different level and a different type of a broader success. And I just love it, man. I just love that I'm a part of it. Because, I was wearing the size 8s, what I'm saying, with the over the shoulder and the paintbrush. So none of that was on my agenda things to do.
So we're going to have.
Oh, this is a setup.
Well, it's just 2 in here. You're good. All right. Oh, this is actually for me. I'm gonna answer this one last. But this question is, I'm in a treatment program working hard to change my life. What advice do you have for someone like me who wants to give back to the community in a real way? Ooh, That's a good one.
That's a good. Now I can give you my lived experience. Whoever wrote it, who wrote it? You. But I'm gonna tell you, learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and learn where to invest. Long-term investment in self is the payoff. I had to. So when I wanted to my external validation is normal for most of us, whether we know what it is or not. But when I started to heal myself, I became better equipped to deal with people. They've seen it happen to me literally in the years I've been working there. Like within the past 2 years, I turned a corner with so many things. Slow down, follow directions. I always tell people all the time, if you ask for help, please let the help without self-directing through our own preconceived bullshit, what help looks like. And I'm not trying, I did it. Lots of people do it. Instead of asking why, ask how. Cooperate, comply, get through the program. Some of the stuff doesn't matter. Some of the rules aren't important unless you're in there. Is my house clean right now? It's clean enough for me. But guess what? It's also in my name, and I pay the bills and I work to get it. If I was in community living, do I need to be on time? Do I need to do this stuff? I'm going to kick back on this. Why is it this way? I'm going to write a paper on this person for that and this person for that. So just look inward and invest in self. Put no time frame on it and see what happens.
Here's another one. Do you ever miss your old life? Are there aspects you wish you could keep without the consequences? That's a good one.
Golly.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, I miss it. You know what I miss the most? Not having any responsibilities. You know what I hated the most about it? Not having the safety and security that come with responsibilities. The contradiction was so huge. I like being able to get up and go from anywhere, anytime, not having anyone to answer to. But did I, was I a law-abiding citizen? Is that a thing? The payoff, man, it's like if everybody wants to have the meal, can you pay the tab? And I can't pay the tab for that life anymore. So I found a life that I like equally or as good or better. And I just invested in that. The longer I'm clean, the more I like my life. Every single day I wake up and I know that I'm not going to put that poison in my body. Start there. I'm not going to put my hands on anybody. And a few little things I do. Like I said, if you get hit by a train, it's not the caboose that kills you. It's the first one. And I keep that in mind.
So this was the question for me. What inspired you to start the podcast? So we were in a partnership conversation with one of our partners, which is Fed Up Against Gun Violence. And the main thing is they had individuals who wanted to tell their story, but they were either ashamed or wanted to kind of not tell their stories because of the backlash that they would get from the community. A lot of individuals die from gun violence because, drug activity or gang activity. And so it was put on my heart to kind of create a space where individuals could tell their story without the backlash. So when we were having our conversation about creating the podcast, one thing we wanted to say was, if you don't want your identity exposed, but to get your story out, we would not expose your identity. And that even went along. I lost my brother to an overdose 2 years ago. And I can remember my stepmom not wanting to say anything on social media because his picture was in the newspaper from something they said he did. And she said, I just don't want anybody to come and say anything. So it's stories like that where people have these stories, but they're scared to tell because my uncle raped me and I still have to go to the cookout with them and I don't want my family to know. Or, this happened to me or that happened to me. So I wanted to create it where we could tell the raw, true stories of what's going on in our community, in our surrounding cities, that we can open up the eyes to other people that might say, is it really happening? Yes, it's happening. And it's happening at the youngest age, middle schoolers. When we go into the school, we have 8th graders that are saying they have tried heroin before. I have a 10 and 11 and 12-year-old. The thought of them doing half the shit that I did when I was younger, my mom is here, it would blow my mind. I'd probably be like needing 3 times a week counseling. And I don't even know how she dealt with me. So I'm kind of like wanting to create that space where somebody can listen and say, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. And to hear that you have gotten through it gives me hope for another day. And we had talked about, even if we had someone that was still in active addiction, I want to hear your story.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because you can be relating to someone that is listening that's like, I am trying to hold on to another day. Mm-hmm. I heard this episode on, this such and such day, and hearing them say, I am still using to this day, gave me hope that I can still hold on. So that's why I wanted to create the Blinded Truth, to create the healthy healing space for healing, truth, authenticity, and just to open up the eyes of what's going on.
I love it.
So
that's fantastic.
Yes.
So, as you all know, we do have Anderson Associates here. I specifically wanted them here because we were highlighting Danny, and we wanted to also highlight what they are doing. And one thing I loved about going and working for Anderson is that it is owned by someone who is in recovery.
Yes.
For over 20 years. And I thought that was awesome because a lot of times you find treatment facilities that is run by people that knows facts and data, and they don't know the real truth. And everybody there is in recovery. So Eric has a highlight of what Anderson Associate offers. And this, I know a lot of you are like, well, I'm there, but we also will have this where people can listen in and maybe they don't know. So Eric, can you kind of tell us a little bit of what Anderson Associate offers?
All right.
If you haven't gotten the paper, it's on the back. He's probably like looking at the paper like, what's going on? That one.
This one.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. But before then, I just want to say that I became your friend by accident. I've said this a couple of times. I was in the Medicaid cab going to treatment, and I said Roanoke Rapids, Virginia, North Carolina. I ended up in Roanoke, Virginia, and I stayed at the Anderson on December the 4th, 2023. That was your day, on your anniversary. Wow. That's the day I showed up, man. And before we go, I just want to say, Danny, I love you, man. Keep doing everything you're doing. I guess you're a role model, man.
Yeah, I love you back, man. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here.
And I got through this without crying. I'm on the verge right now, so I'm gonna get back to this. Yep. But thank you, man. And another thing, I think you're more of a humanitarian than anything because of what you got in your personal life. Not just, yes, you got to get some of your flowers, man, because what you have done, a lot of people wouldn't do.
Nope.
And I can even say, I don't know if I will be able to do something like that, man. And I just want to give it to you while you're alive because we often get our flowers when we die, man. And just keep it up, man. Keep motivating me to become better, man. And I know I'm glad you're here, but I feel like you being here is more for me than it was for you. Because I know this hour or so, I better take something away from this podcast tonight and add it to my life, man. If it's only one word, man, you always got that word to say. And I love you because you're a numbers guy, you know the literature, and you speak facts. You don't give me what you think, you give me what you know.
And he lives it.
You live it. So thank you, my brother.
We matter. Everybody in this room, we matter.
Yeah.
We matter. We matter. You never know when somebody's going to turn the curve. So,
yeah. Nope. So if you know anyone who needs treatment, would love to go to a caring, loving place with some guidelines to follow. They're not too strict, but they're strict. I would suggest Anderson treatment because it helped save my life. They have so much to offer. They have partial hospitalization, 20 hours of group therapy a week, adult IOP, intensive outpatient program, 9 hours of group therapy weekly, adolescent IOP, ages 12 to 17, 6 hours of group weekly, the MAT program, MAT, clinic, walk-in style clinic for Suboxone, other addiction treatment, medications, management services. They have individual therapy, one-on-one counseling provided by a licensed therapist and a certified substance abuse counselor. Therapy helps. It does help. I'm a testament to that. Maybe I should tell a little bit more stuff, but that's next year. But we'll get to that. Group therapy, MAT support groups, and aftercare programs. I did IOP through 12. I had a great time. Learned a lot about myself. Man, 12 is a 60 to 90 day transitional living residential treatment program. Core focus on developing long-term sober living skills and emphasis on employment, housing, recovery networks, and activities of daily living. 26-bed co-ed facility, AM house. That's the house I was at, the best house. 18, they're all great, but you just can't get AM. I love the house. 18-bed, all-male facility on Patterson Avenue. I went and shared for the first time there a couple of weeks ago. Beautiful house, man. It's a beautiful place. 30-bed co-ed facility in Lynchburg. I heard some good stuff about it. The Grove on Patterson, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard a lot about it. Mm-hmm. You got something to do with that, right? Is that the one you?
No, that's the above.
That's the Pregnant Women and Children's House.
Oh, okay.
They have a different. Actually, Leanna's here. She's the program coordinator. There's different people from here now. That place is fantastic.
Okay.
They're doing things that were almost not being done in Virginia. They serve a population that is vulnerable and that absolutely needs our love, affection, attention, and all the support we can give them.
The Grove Room Passion 4 to 6 month registered treatment program for pregnant women and their infants. Women struggling with addiction and can come into treatment while pregnant. Live or in return to the residential setting with their infant postpartum until they are ready to execute their long-term recovery plans. This is a community partnership with Restoration Housing. They're in place, Destinnee Hall. Wow, let's get another round of applause. A real quick fun fact before the drugs really got me, I was going to school to be a social worker, and I wanted to deal with pregnant women and women who've been abused with drug addiction, and that's dope, man. Thank y'all. And above ground, do you want to give us that?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. So we have 2 male houses called Above Ground 1, Above Ground 2. Above Ground is our version of what would be considered an Oxford house.
But it's better.
So we based Above Ground on the men's house version, which has some things that are different that I think are needed. Jody believed they were needed, and Ali believed they were needed. They were implemented, and the numbers are through the roof. So it's a single point of accountability. They're connected to services at Anderson. So through Matt, through case management, they have to complete IOP. They're only people taking Above Ground are people who graduated from 12. I can tell you this. We opened our first house in August, 13 beds. 7 of those people that went in August are over a year clean. 3 of them now work for the 12. 4 of them have taken the PRS training. Jimmy's back there. Jimmy's here. We love Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy.
Jeremiah's here. Derek's right here. Derek works for Anderson. And so we have our numbers prove it, man. That model works. People stay connected. They had support connection from Anderson. And so from the community, they didn't slide right off into what I've seen happen in other. We just opened to the old Bethany Hall, which is on Franklin Road. We got that property, opened it, I think, about 3 weeks ago. 12 beds there. And so we have some of the guys are in here now from there as well. I ride with them. Listen, man, let's check this out. This is my life, man. I'm not that guy on paper that I'm that guy. I'm going to be at the house. I'm going to be at work. I'm going to show up at 3 in the morning. I'm going to do whatever. And it's no compromise. This life is better than any life I ever had by far. And so therefore, I'm not losing anything by investing in it. There's sacrifice in everything that we do.
Yep.
I'm raising a family. One other thing I wanted to say, I became a residential support provider almost 2 years ago for a 25-year-old autistic male. I'm about to be. Can you believe that? I got so many kids. Let me tell y'all about my kids, man. Oh, y'all don't want to? What, Rosa? Rosa got as many kids as I do. And it's crazy, man. I got to come back into my son's life at 33 years old. He's one of my best friends. He literally, I am to him what I needed when I was a child, man. And it doesn't matter how I'm that to him, man. And he knows I'm coming home at night. And he knows the bills are paid. And he knows I might bitch and moan, and I do. But I'm there, man. And I'm the same thing for Michael too, man.
And don't forget what you say. This is all yours in here. You tell him that.
My house.
Yeah.
You that's your room. That's my stuff in your room. What's wrong with you, man? Everything in the house belongs to me. My dad used to say, and turn off the bathroom light.
Yeah.
I'll pay the light bill. Then go sit on the porch by myself, mad, smoking a cigarette. My son's in there going, why are you like this? Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to.
And I think it's funny because when I see you, I'll be like, what, Michael? He'll be like, I need a break. I'll be like, you sound like me. A real true parent.
We was gonna bring Michael, but Michael stems when I talk. So he literally, Jeremiah would have had Jeremiah and Michael are close friends. Michael and Jeremiah have a special relationship. He would have been raising pure hell up in here. Y'all don't minute for I wonder who's that kid? And then you know that Papa Bear kicks in. Why? What you saying something about my son, man? Right. So, you know, I want to just say one more thing. Mm-hmm. This is just a real quick thing. Last year, so 1 year ago, I had my gun rights restored. Oh. At 53 years old, so I lost them when I was 18. So I never had my gun rights my entire life. When I could get them back, I got them back. What I thought was emotionally regulated, I had to check that shit at the door when I got my gun rights back. I just want to say, I know a lot of people talk about it, and with the culture and this and that, I wanted to have a gun. And it dawned on me in a split second of not being regulated and anything happening, I could make a decision that I would regret forever and never, ever come home to Michael or my son. So I had to step back and think about that. Those are important things to consider. Look, I'm just saying this because once we get forward momentum, we know how to get stuff back. Like, we can do things. We have fidelity, fortitude, resilience, perseverance, courage, strength. People who suffer from SUD and mental health on the other side of that are literally some of the most shining, bright, intelligent, courageous, strong people I know. But we have to harness that sometimes because we still have to be functional and live within this society and not outside the bounds of polite society. Yep. It's good to find the balance, and please take your time finding the balance. Every decision we make has a consequence, whether it's negative or positive. So,
well, thank you so much. All right, so Danny, so we just shot our first podcast and you were our guest. So how are you feeling?
Oh, fantastic. I think it went better than I expected. I love this facility. I love what you guys are doing. I love community awareness, and it included all of those things. And you guys were so nice to me and all the people we brought. So thank you.
So you touched on a couple of things that we always go out in the community and talk about, which is ACEs, trauma, and also addiction.
Yes.
So when it comes to recovery, what does that look like for the next generation?
The understanding I have about recovery is, so if you want to break it down, return to something's former state or an active change in ideas, attitudes, behaviors. So I think with the culture 2025, you include social media and a lot of that isolation that goes on through that. Some things important to remember. So harm reduction is recovery.
Right.
It's an active change in ideas, attitudes, behaviors. I believe in autonomy being restored, so the restoration of autonomy is essential for recovery. If a person can't gain their independence and do things that are esteemable, they cease to gain the self-esteem that will keep them from the harm-causing maladaptive behaviors that recovery will change for them. So another thing is body sovereignty. I think that's important. I think individually, recovery is not linear. It's not cookie cutter. It's going to look different. I think the more options we offer for total wellness, holistic wellness, mental, emotional restoration back to wholeness, I think that hits more places. The old idea of recovery being only abstinence from substances is so archaic in 2025. The stigma attached to that is lethal for people who close their mind to one path. Truth may be one, paths are many. So explore paths, different paths, offer options, and allow people with different communication, different comprehension, different life experiences to grab something to find relief for them. And that would be what I consider to be recovery for the next generation. First of all, I would suggest to the family to understand what addiction is. So it's a family disease. They might have one person, but trauma reaches and touches boundaries. Harm is caused through family, it's through generations. I would always say, get the best information possible, reach out for help as soon as possible, negotiate different methods of help, but always be proactive and have forward momentum. I think when we bog down in isolation and it's a shameful thing, that stigma literally kills people.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, Danny, for being our guest on the podcast.
You're awesome.
We look forward to having you again.
Thank you.
And again, this is Danny Cox. He is one of the conflict resolution. Tell them your title. I can't even tell it all.
The conflict resolution facilitator for the entirety of Anderson treatment, as well as the recovery housing coordinator and a DBHCS Region 3 PRS trainer for the state of Virginia.
And he is the true definition of boots on the ground.
All right.
Thank you.